Hey everybody, this is Kat from Kat's Creations, and I, as promised, said that I would come back today to teach you how to do a rose gold Christmas wreath. So today that is what I'm going to be taking the opportunity to walk you guys through. So let me really quick, since I'm flying solo, let me just make sure everything is where it needs to be. So give me 1 second for comments. There we go. Okay, waiting for it to open. Okay, hi Janet, hi Teresa. So hopefully you guys like these little impromptu, unplanned lives. Let me get my battery plugged in, because as you guys know, when you use a lot of Wi-Fi, it takes a lot of battery. So give me 1 second. You can tell how fluent I am from the new Kindles versus the old one. So hi Gail, it's not replay. Oh wait, this is a replay one. Hold on a second. I'm going into the old one. Hold on just 1 second. I miss my old iPad. Hold on a second. I think I got it. Hate technology sometimes. Okay. We are here. So before I was like, why are people putting replay? And I was like looking through the thing and I was watching the video that we did yesterday. So hi Antoinette, hi Amber, hi Marty, hi Peggy. So inspiration behind the sign. Merry Christmas. So this one's rose gold. I'm just mixing up a little bit. I'm not going to go overly crazy. Most of the Christmas wreaths in my shop will all be the traditional colors or more of the primitive, so it's kind of like a more muted play. But I've been dying to make a rose gold Christmas wreath, so went out to Hobby Lobby last night because I was like, somebody has rose gold ribbon, I just can't remember where. So all of the ribbon, let me just verify, all of the ribbon, I believe it all came from Hobby Lobby, which it did. So in Hobby Lobby right now has their Christmas on sale for 50% off. So on 30-foot spools to get, you know, an elaborate ribbon, 2.5 or 1.5 inch for about $5 is not, you know, it's not over the top as far as expense wise. And the good thing is you get to go in today, pick it up, and you can take it home. You don't have to like go online through some of the online vendors, purchase it that way, wait for it to be delivered, or try to hit a minimum to get your free shipping. So I will go through all the materials like I did yesterday, and then we'll go ahead and start creating and see where it kind of evolves. So the sign, which is, I want to say it's a this is a 6 by 10. Personally yours, again. I ordered a whole bunch of these in different colors, different font styles. Unsure if I was going to turn these into beach wreaths, so I am using up my supplies faithfully. So we're going to leave this one as it is. It's still going to be a Christmas, but it's not going to be a beach Christmas. We are using 3 different colors meshed like we did yesterday. We're going to be using a true gold, not the yellow gold that a lot of the online craft retailers are carrying. I believe, let me think, where did I get this? Joann's. Joann's has the true gold. So it's kind of like a champagne gold, not like a goldish brown or a yellow gold. So we'll be doing true gold. We will be doing, let me try to get all these out of the basket. The white with the iridescent like we used yesterday, and then also a rose gold color which came from Craft Outlet. Now the gold and the rose gold are a little bit thinner, so we're going to hope that it all comes out. You never know until you kind of just put it out there and, you know, see how it goes. So we are going to be doing the same method, 30-inch pieces of 10-inch Deco mesh, Cruffled, because I liked the layout that it did yesterday for the work frame wreath, how we had the upper and lower, and then also I liked how it balanced. I liked how we had a little bit of ruffles with a little bit of curls. Ribbon. So the ribbon choices for the actual wreath are going to be this really pretty rose gold. Again, all the ribbon came from Hobby Lobby. So we're doing 2.5 inch in this pattern, and then also in this pattern, and then also in this pattern. I have to tell you, Steve's the one that actually picked out all the ribbon colors, which is amazing. So these three are going to be incorporated into our wreath, kind of keeping with that cream, that champagne gold, and the true rose gold. And then on our bow, I haven't quite decided yet. I have this rose gold, I have the glitter, I also have a sheer, like a cream color with a gold, and then just before the live I actually walked into my craft room and found this sitting up in my gold section of my ribbon rack, so we might be incorporating that. And then we also have, it's kind of a rose gold, silver, gold kind of pattern kind of going on this, so these will probably be more of our bow colors, but these three are going to be incorporated into the actual wreath design. So Marty, okay, if you have, and that's weird, why is it doing this? I'm seeing that we're buffering, so hang tight. This is interesting because normally I don't get a broadcast interrupted. I know, I'm seeing that, Brenda, lost connection, which is weird because normally we are not supposed to have this. So hang tight, let's see if it comes back or if we are stuck, and if so, I will go back out and come back in and see how that goes. So let's see. I know my wireless connection's not working, so let me go out and go back in, and let's see if I get it back up to date. Okay, click. Let me open that. I'm waiting for the connection to come back. See, my wireless connection is showing you what you guys have. So it's going, so I'm going to kind of go with that. Let's see. Give me 1 second. Because I know that our video feed is going to go good. Hi Evie, can you guys hear me? Can you guys see me? Because I'm seeing it on my end too. And I think it's just the connection within Facebook. I'm directly connected to the internet. Yeah, and I'm directly connected. The camera is fine. The camera is doing it correctly. It's the feed. So it looks like everything is back. Who knows? God, Facebook, please. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and attempt to go through this. So I went over all the ribbon. Sign came from Personally Yours. I have some embellishments, so we're going to do some rose gold, some muted gold balls. I have some, I don't know what you call it. It's kind of like, it's like a pick. It's not even a pine pick, but it's kind of in that rose gold category. So we'll try that out and see how it goes. Right. Hi, Jackie. So Lenore says, I have rose gold ribbon and mesh I need to use up. It was funny because I've had this rose gold deco mesh since the summer. I was going to try to do a beach wreath. Never did. And then I thought, I have the sign. Let's go ahead and do not quite everything similar to what we did yesterday, but something similar. So 14-inch wired work frame. This time I'm doing it with the white tinsel ties. I think that'll play nicely off of everything in the sign. So we're gonna go ahead and start. Is the pick from Hobby Lobby as well? I think it was from Hobby Lobby last year, but yes it is. So good catch on that, Dawn. Let's see, where is my chip clip? Normally I'm really pretty good about bringing everything out and making sure I have everything here. me grab this really quick. And if we don't have a tip clip, there we go. Then you're good. Okay, I think we're ready to begin. So if you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to let me know. I'm trying to keep the camera out of the way so we don't mess with the camera angle. But this particular Deco mesh should go fairly quick because it's a lot thinner. So let's get it all unraveled. Get our scissors in place. So remember, the only reason that we're grabbing the ends is because that's where it's cut. So we're trying to confine the cut and keep them kind of within the curls. You can see how bad this wants to keep curling. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I usually just roll up 5 times from each end so that I have about 10 inches of Deco mesh in the middle to do my ruffle with. On this work frame, it has 9 on the interior and then 9 on the exterior. So just like the one that we used yesterday, we're going to be doing odd number selection. I guess I should have used this one before I pulled that out. The Deco mesh was all cut with a wood burning tool. 2, 4, 5. Let's see. Thanks for joining, Laura. She's from Kansas City, Missouri. So thank you for joining us. She's a YouTuber, so she followed me over here from my YouTube channel. And I'm gonna try to do this again tomorrow at the same time. To do another one, we will do a Black Bear Christmas. So it's gonna all be buffalo plaid with a black bear kit. So that's what we're going to be using for tomorrow's live. So I hope you guys will come back and join me then. Oh, snowing in Michigan. See, I would be in creator's heaven right now. Having inclement weather outside, having the fire going, making something amazing. Here it's 85, sunny, and it looks like it's going to stay that way for just a little bit longer. It doesn't even look like we're going to get a break in any of the temperatures. I know it's sad, but until I'm trying to think how far the weather app goes out. I think it's about 10 days before we get any change in our weather. So I'm envious of those of you that have changes in your weather, because ours pretty much stays the same day in and day out. What's the best method, April says, to use burlap to make a wreath? It depends. Are you doing the true burlap, or are you doing like the burlap jute, which is like an imitation of that? If you're doing a jute, which is kind of like what this is here, this is a burlap jute. You can do Cruffles with that as well, because you can't cut jute with a wood burning tool. You have to do it with a rotary cutter, which means it is going to fray. So anything that we can do to help reduce the amount of fraying is going to be a benefit. So the Cruffle kind of takes those cut edges and it kind of sticks them on the inside part of the curl, which is perfect because the customer's not going to be able to really get it to fray much, because that cut edge is what, in 5 or 6 different sections of a curl. So that's what I would do. Or you could do, if you're working with true burlap, you can do the pull-through method, which kind of makes it look like ruffled scrunchies. But if you're using the true burlap, you're going to need to wear a mask when cutting it, because those fibers can get everywhere. So you want to make sure you protect your lungs, and it has a tendency of making you feel real itchy afterwards. So anything that you can do to prevent that will definitely be a plus. How will you do it if your amounts of twists are off by 1? Mine seem to happen that way occasionally. Here's the thing. Always double check before you start, because then that helps you determine how the rest of your materials are going to play out done. So I always count. Like I said, they're never consistent. Sometimes you get 10 on the outside, 8 on the inside. Sometimes you get 8 on the outside, 7 on the inside. The 14-inch ones from Burton & Burton seem to be pretty consistent with 9 on the outside and 9 on the inside, which means that you've got to, you know, go with an odd number of ribbon or deco mesh or ribbon ties. So if you were just doing like 2 2.5 and 2 1.5, it's not going to come out. So in a case like that, what you can do, and I've done it before, is cut one off from the inside and add it to one of the ones on the outside, and that way it'll give you 8 on the inside and 10 on the outside, and then you're even. So at that stage you can, you know, do your 2 2.5 and 2 1.5 inch pieces. So I have done that, taken it, snipped it off with wire cutters, and then twisted it back onto the frame. Just know that when you do that, you're gonna not have as long of a tinsel tie as you would have had you left it on, because you're going to take some of that as you twist it around the frame. Let's see, what do you do if your twists that you put together are positioned apart? So I'm kind of, let's see, how am I trying to read that? Kathy. Okay, so Dawn, clarify that question a little bit more. What do you do if your twists that you put together are positioned apart? So I'm not sure what you're referring to. Are you referring to the little tinsel ties that I'm having here? Like, are they too far apart? You can always kind of play with how you put your deco mesh onto your frame and turn it sideways, turn it straight up and down, whatever you need it to do in order to work. So Kathy says 2 days in a row, are you doing another challenge? I'm actually just stocking my store, and instead of just doing it me in my kitchen by myself, I am cutting all my materials and then breaking out my Amiibo and going live and showing you what I'm doing. So I don't really think of it as a challenge. I'm just like, let me show you how we can do a rose gold wreath. I really like how yesterday's wreath turned out. When I can surprise my husband and get him to go, okay, I really like that. That, you know, it comes out better than I was originally anticipating. That to me tells me that I've done a good job. Because normally he's like, oh, it's the same as like what you always do. 2, 3, 4, 5. I think that she, okay. I'm just reading really quick. Okay, so Gail is going to get back with us on her knee appointment. Poor thing, 3 surgeries and still in so much knee pain. So I've been kind of following her. I've been following my friend, Nikki, who has cancer. So she's doing her bucket list Disney day today. So her and her family are spending the day at Disney. So I've kind of been following her as well. So what do you guys think of the color combos so far? Just look at, this is the rose gold, that champagne true gold, along with the white iridescent. I think it's going to come out really, really nice, because using the white deco mesh with the white tinsel ties is going to break up some of all that rose gold, so it's not going to be overly pink. I think it's going to create a really good balance to the entire design. Do you publish the items used for the angel tree topper? Karen asked, did you publish the items you used for the angel tree topper, or are you going to, it's just going by the materials list that was out there before, Karen. You would just change the item quantities are the same, so just whatever you're going to do, you would substitute whatever items you're going to use on your angel, whether you're going to go with a white laser foil or with a true, like just a regular white like this. The material quantities stay the same. The dimensions for the bib, the bow, the halo, the head, those all stay consistent. You're just going to change those out to go with whatever color combination you're going to go with. So I think I'm really going to like this one. I think these two are going to kind of be my new favorites, just because I think we're going to have to kind of turn these sideways too, because look at the gap here. So if I were to leave this straight up and down, look where my other tinsel tie is. It's way over here. So yeah, it's going to impact it some, but not enough. So what I want to do on the outside, and we did this yesterday, is I'm going to take these and turn them sideways, and then the ones on the top will kind of sit in between. So it'll all fill in pretty good. The rose gold mesh party came from Craft Outlet. Was it Craft Outlet? Did I say it was Craft Outlet? Yes, it was. Yeah, because the gold came from Joann's. I was trying to think. Yes, it did come from Craft Outlet. It's pretty thin, but don't let that intimidate you. You can still get a really good soft look, and that's kind of where I'm going. And we will gather all this together. And I'm looking for where we leave off, because we want to make sure that when we move down to the bottom row with these 3 different colors, that where we start, in this case, I did it between the white and the champagne gold. So breaking that up with a rose gold means that none of the colors are really going to touch one another. So that's going to be a good thing. And then we get to move in with white and then gold, and then we can keep following our pattern all the way around. Absolutely, Margie. I like making them. It's just sometimes I don't really have the plan in mind. Like, I knew the sign, I got the ribbon, I had the Deco mesh. Even when I was at Hobby Lobby yesterday, I was looking at what kind of ornaments did they have that stayed in that rose gold, and again, it kind of toggles between an overly pink and an overly gold. So it's like more muted gold than a true rose gold. So I'm happy that the rose gold that I picked here is more of a true rose gold and not going pink, if that makes sense. So I'm going to kind of take these and just move these around. Thankfully, like I said, we're going to have so much added in here, but not so much that it's like overkill, but just enough to where, hoping that it looks more Victorian than it does, I don't know, more contemporary, I guess. So I'm kind of leaning towards a Victorian type of Christmas. 3, 4, 5. So hopefully that helps. Yeah, hold on a sec, Maribel. I'll hold up the sign. Let me just kind of put it. I have my, hopefully that'll help. Came from Personally Yours on Etsy. So these are just signs that I'm using up that I had. I had a blue one, I had a purple one, and then I had rose gold. So I thought, let's just go ahead and create something with them. So that's what we're doing today. And I need white. Dawn, the sign came from Personally Yours. So it's personal, and then Lee, L-E-E, and then Y-O-U-R-S. She's on Etsy. And she says, I got a white joy sign from Hobby Lobby. Have no idea what colors. Well, it's entirely up to you. I always look at what colors do I have, what colors do I like, what color embellishments do I have, and then kind of go with that. The only thing I had to go pick up yesterday was just the ribbon. I had gold, I had white, I had cream, I had one roll of rose gold. So that's what we're doing. So I'm just letting it all kind of get all fluffy. I did pick up, I'm looking for new signs because I really want some new ideas. It's kind of hard when I have made it my position to not replicate the same wreaths. To try to find something, like I could do this rose gold a couple different ways and still not have it look exactly the same. But I'm trying to find some new variations in colors than from what everybody else is doing. Thankfully, Pinterest helps a lot. Pinterest gives me an awful lot of ideas for colors that I may not have thought to use together. Like doing the mermaid one with purple, I think it was purple, lavender, and dark blue. And it turned out gorgeous. And people were like, I never would have thought those colors worked together. And it's like, sometimes it's just looking at a pin on Pinterest and saying, I really like how those colors come together. And then you just make your own. Kathy, the rose gold deco mesh came from Craft Outlet. So as soon as I finish getting the video done, I will get the materials list up so that the SKU numbers will be available for private group members so that you know what was the item number for the rose gold deco mesh. So 2 more to go, and then our base is finished, and then we will pretty much do the same thing. I'm looking at the sign, already seeing a huge difference from the one that we did yesterday. Besides the colors, can you guys tell me what else is obviously different from yesterday's sign? Oh, that's funny, Dawn. You told your husband you were watching me live and they already know, Friday Night Live. Yeah, I was just like, it's getting so close to Christmas and it's my busy season, so I have a lot of design ideas, so why not just go ahead and post them. If you guys don't mind watching, I will post the design ideas. Hi, Carla. 2, 3. So, yes, Brenda, you nailed it. The position of the Merry Christmas. Automatically, I'm already like sitting here while I'm rolling this thinking, what am I going to do for my bow? Where am I going to position my sign? Because yesterday's Merry Christmas was pushed all the way to the right, which enabled me to position the sign kind of a little bit underneath my bow, which is nice, but with the fact that it is pushed out in the direction that it is, let's do this. Let's see, there we go. Let's get that on top. So here is the rose gold with the true gold and white base. So these are all 30-inch Cruffles. So I did do the math yesterday. It will take you about half a roll for each color, but if you buy all 3, there's enough to make 2 if you do 30-inch Cruffles. So yes, looking at the sign, this works, this doesn't. So I cannot take, I could, I just have to move my sign way out. I can't tuck it underneath my bow loops because then I won't see the Mary. So I have the option. I could position the bow on the left, right on my way, left here, and put it here and then let the loops kind of go under. It's always odd, it just feels different to me, like the bow has to go here or here. And in both cases, I mean, I could put it here, but I think I'm gonna go for the oddball for me, which is putting it to the right for you guys. So let's go ahead and build our bow first. So we are going to take same formula that I used yesterday. You will pick 2.5 inch ribbons, and then you go with 4 1.5 inch. So I'm trying to mix them up. I don't know if I want to use this, but let's look. Let's see. Too many. If we do it this way, then there's too many rose gold. So we have to break this up. There's too much of a party happening. And I'm thinking I want to go like this. This enables me to kind of see, I always end my bows with the most ornate ribbon pattern because it creates a lot of visual interest because you see it first. And then I try to always use something that's not so busy for the very bottom. So I like the way that these are all laying out. So these are going to be the layers of our bow starting from the bottom and then working our way up to the top. So let us do this. So we're going to dovetail our end, which is taking our wired edges together, and we're going to cut from the folded side right to that point. And then we have our really pretty dovetail. It's kind of hard to see because it's almost the same color as my hand. And we're going to go with, I think we can go a little bit bigger on this because it's going to be on this side. So I think I'm going to try 10. So we're going to do 10-inch tail with 5.5 inch loops. This ribbon is very thin, meaning not thin as far as the quality goes, but thin as far as the tensile strength on the wire. So it wants to not support itself very well. It wants to fold. So let's make sure 5.5 inch, and then we'll do 5.5 inch on the other side. Using the Bodabra, all it's going to be is a twist. So then I always line it back up on like the 10, right between, and then pull those out. And that was actually going towards a 6-inch loop. So, and then all the way back out here for 10. So we will try these. Shell, thanks for catching me live. I don't really have a plan this week for my lives. It's just hey, I found something else to make, let's make something. So tomorrow we're going to make the berry Christmas wreath with the big black bear for people who like the rustic woodland. So we're going to do the same thing here. This one is really thin. If I didn't know any better, I would think it had no wire in it at all. So we're going to do this one at 9.5. So we're going to put our twist in there and then get this going. And let's see, we're going to keep those exactly the same length. And then as we do the next two, we'll come in on our ribbon loop. And then this will be 9.5. So right about here. So hopefully this will look amazing by the time we finish it. Okay, so we said these ones. Move this over since we don't need that. Let's go ahead and open this one. Thanks, Rita. Wow, Shell, all the way from New Zealand. It's on my bucket list. I would love to go to New Zealand. So we're gonna dovetail this one. I like this because it's a rose gold with gold threads going horizontal across the ribbon. So we'll take this to 9. Each time I'm adding a ribbon tail, I'm bringing it down by 1/2 inch. And now I'll bring my ribbon loops in to 5 inches. And then we'll go I might do 5, then 4.5, and then let's make sure. I'm trying to get you all the way to the 5. There we go. And all the way out to the 9. Dovetail again. So normally to make a bow, you will need about 12 feet of ribbon. So that's always a good rule of thumb to determine whether or not you have enough ribbon to make a bow, or if you're buying rolls of ribbon, would you have enough to complete a bow? So with these 30 feet, it's enough for me to add those to the ribbon, as well as add it to the sides for the embellishment. So now we're going down to 8.5. Always bringing it in an extra 1/2 inch. It's going to be very elegant, very classy, hopefully. And we want to bring this one to 4.5. And then the last one's just going to be a 4 and then a 3.5. So that'll kind of help my bows with stacking. So we said 4.5. And then we're down here to 8. So that's just my formula for building it on a 20, this will be 26 inch finished, 6 inches full. So I think that's about it. I know, Peggy, right? I have to get on a plane. Thanks, Gail. See, everyone knows I don't like to fly, so they're all making fun of me. You can't get to New Zealand by car. You have to get on a plane. People are still trying to figure out how to sedate me enough to get me on a plane. I just have a fear of flying. I have, God, I've had it for such a long time. I just had a really horrible experience in flying. So we're going to bring this into 4. And sadly, it's keeping me from enjoying the things that I would love to do. Like go visit my friends, but then I can drive to Florida, right, Peggy? Right, Gail? I can drive there. And then I can stay as long as I want because I don't have a flight itinerary that I have to be back to. But yeah, sadly, to go the places in the world I'd like to visit requires one to get on a plane. Last one. So this one, and I'm glad I picked this up. I'm glad it was still there, because our Hobby Lobby gets picked out pretty good. So this is, I want to say it's 7, yeah, 7 inches. We need it long enough to actually create a tail, and then we're going to go 3.5-inch loops. So right about there, and 3.5. We'll make sure. And then 7-inch tail, and our bow is done. I can't wait to fluff it out and see what it's going to look like. Let's take this and move that to the side. Okay. So we're going to go with a pale pink. I like pale pink or white. I don't know, maybe white. I brought both because the pale pink will have to go with our sign. Because sadly, I don't have any rose gold colored pipe cleaners. So we'll go ahead and secure this. And I have gold, but it's the yellow gold. The kind that just doesn't look real. 4, 5. Okay, let's bring this over and find the flat spot, because there's always a flat spot. So I'm thinking right here on the white would be a perfect place. That's right though. Well, let's add it, and then we'll move the wreath around, because I was thinking it's not going to go on the upper right. It's going on the, or upper right, not upper left. So let's go ahead and fluff our bow. So we have our tail. So we'll pull our tail here and our loop to the side. Loop to the side. So you always want to make sure your loops are opposite of your tails. So here we have our 2 tails, or 2 loops, 2 tails. And then we're going to do the same thing but opposite. So I have tail over here, so I need to pull tail down and loop over and do the same thing. We have tail here, so we're just going to move them so they're complete opposites of each other. Let's do it that way. And then we keep working it as we go through. So now I'm just following the rose gold. So we're going to go here. And here. The gold. We'll go here. And then here. And the nice thing about the curls is if they're in the way, just move them. Just redirect them. So we're going to go back here. And then back here. I'm going to pull this one in between these 2. The pink with the glitters, little stiff. It doesn't want to yield to where I need it to go, and I'm actually going to do these opposite because I want my loop to be on the opposite side. There we go. And now we get to fluff and push all of our loops up. Feather all of our tails. What do you guys think so far? Do you like the colors? So now we have to figure out our sign placement. Where will our sign go? It's supposed to be on the lower bottom or upper left So we can go here, kind of position it down, which I think is going to make it look amazing. So this is, I always put my bows in first before the signs, so that if I need to move my sign, it's a lot easier to move that than to take the bow off, move the bow, refluff it, put it back on. So let's go ahead and add it there. So beadsmith 1.5 millimeter hole punch, metal hole punch. You can get them at Joann's, Hobby Lobby. They generally are called jeweler's punch. So anything from 1.5 millimeter to a 2.0 will work. And then of course, depending upon how thick your pipe cleaners are. So I have some pretty thick pipe cleaners. So I'm gonna do it with a pink because the white just is like shouting, look at me. Yeah. So I'm just reading, you guys are responding to each other's question. Yeah, all of these were cut with a wood burning tool, which is my preferred method of cutting because it cauterizes and it goes relatively quick. It's just as quick as it would be with a rotary cutter. So we're going to tuck this one up underneath that. So let's go ahead and do the one we tuck. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure I can hit, thank God, my metal frame. That's always our challenge. So I want to make sure it doesn't impact the bottom, but just the top. So let's go ahead and just lightly poke back up. I'm going to lightly twist this on, and then if we need to move it or tighten it, we can do that. So just usually 2 twists to kind of help me with placement. And then move it over here. It's funny, I can see the pipe cleaner. And I'm going to kind of take this and just pull it back a little bit, making sure that everything is where it needs to go. Let me take a look. Now we can go ahead and tighten the Merry Christmas on the other side. I'm pretty happy where it went. I hit my rail so it's secure, but I want to make sure that my bow does not impact the Christmas part of Merry Christmas. And I think it's okay. Let's see, I might want to pull it down just a smidge because it keeps wanting to go up and I think I want it to come down. So go ahead and move this over, and this is where you smush your bow. Okay, I think that'll work better. I just kept wanting to go back up underneath the bow and hide, and I didn't want it to do that because you don't want to pull your bow away. Okay. So I'm going to move this to the side and show you what we have so far. So there you guys go. Let me, give me 1 second, see if I can zoom in. So I'm going to hold that up a little bit so you can see. Okay, and now we'll go ahead and do the outside embellishments with the ribbons, which are fairly super simple. The ribbon tails today are cut to 13 inches. I wanted these ones a little bit shorter. So we're doing like a plaid with a patterned, like a weave on top. And then we're doing this snowflake print, and then again with the rose gold diagonal print. So we're going to put these on the outside 9. So it doesn't have any rhyme or reason. I'm going to start with the white and put the rose gold on the white, because I wanted these just a little bit shorter than yesterday's. And then we will add the white to our champagne color. And I'm just taking these and putting them right in the twists and just kind of fanning them out. I look up and I see, like, it looks like it was floating. Needed to push that down. And then we'll take this really pretty plaid and add this to our pink, because it has just, it's like edged or bordered in gold, so it looks really super pretty. And I can yank, if I want more color from the center, I can always come back in here and pull some colored from the front. And that helps just give it some dimension around the sign. So now we'll go here. Now, did you have enough ribbon to do the bow and the embellishments? Done. I had enough to do both. And look, I mean, to do an entire bow, just with one roll of ribbon, you're going to need 12 feet. But because I broke this up and did 6 different colors, I didn't really need that much. And because I'm splitting my colors and doing 13 inches, I only needed 3 of each color of the 2.5 inch. So I really barely used any of the ribbon at all. So I have plenty. I probably have enough to do an entire another one of these wreaths without having to buy any additional ribbon. So that's kind of nice, because we can kind of take this if we wanted to and do an evergreen, like a snowy evergreen with the rose gold. I think that would look really pretty. So it'll be the embellishments that will kind of take it up a little bit. So we'll still add all of our ribbon as planned. And this is one of the plus sides of doing the work frame wreath, is you're not doing 12 pieces of ribbon to the outside. There's only 8 for me on this one. So as you can see, we're just going around and adding these. I have 2 more to go, and then we'll add our half bows to the center of these. And I'm not opening any of these, I'm just adding them directly on top. And here's the last one. So you can see it doesn't have an awful lot of strength to it. It's very flimsy. pull this. Okay. All right, so I have the 1.5 inch, the sheer gold with the snowflake. We have the pink glitter, and then also this one, which really, I mean, you'd look at this and think this has no wire in it at all, but it actually does. It's kind of like a woven rose gold with the gold threads in it. So these are all cut to 14.5, and these are to allow you to do your half bows, which is, I take them, fold them in half. I have about a 2-inch loop, and that's just 2 inches from here to here, not 2 inches total. And then these will go directly into the tinsel ties, and then we fan them out like awareness ribbons. And that just kind of fills that gap like we did yesterday. Again, not opening the tinsel tie. And I'll show you what they look like. Let me get this one fluffed up a little bit more. And it's kind of weird because it's under the bow. I don't know why I started there. I just did. I'm going to do the gold on top of this diagonal stripe. So let me go ahead and add this. There we go. So I'll show you as I spin them around. This is your little awareness ribbon. So they're just placed on top of the 2.5, and then you just kind of fan them out so that they kind of fill that space. Because I feel like it draws your eye to the center if there's nothing there. I'm trying to think. I know last year Hobby Lobby had rose gold scatters and fillers. This year it didn't seem like they did, or if they did, they didn't last very long. I haven't seen them. So there's this. And we'll keep going all the way around. Joanne says pretty rose gold. I didn't see any rose gold over there, Karen. And usually, wow, I was just at Joanne's Saturday when they did the big ribbon sale, and normally if they have it, I'm all over it, but I didn't see any. But that's not to say that they don't carry it, it's just our Joann's didn't have it out, just like they didn't have the Deco mesh out until their sale, and then they pulled the Deco mesh out, which is okay. It just enabled me to get the Deco mesh at $3, which I liked. I'm just hoping Joann's will do a pretty good sale this week, or Michael's. Michael's needs to catch up. Michael's needs to do a good sale. And pink. So I'm already mentally going through and going, okay, where do I want to add some sparkles, some glitter, some embellishments, because I don't have the same picks we were able to use yesterday, which were really pretty. The holly picks were just perfect. I did find some rose gold pine cones, so we can incorporate that, because that kind of keeps with our Christmas theme. Here we go. 3 more to go, and then we get to have fun embellishing. So Deborah said they had a few rose gold. And then Susan says Walmart has one, 61 pieces. What is 61 pieces? I don't know what that means. Is that like there would be enough that you would have 61 pieces? in the ribbon roll, because the Walmarts that I've been looking at, even Target, their ribbon quantity isn't enough to justify the cost, and we can't really use coupons at either of those places. Although Target's ornament selection right now for the plastic shatterproof ornaments, 100 of them for $30 is a good deal, because that's only 30 cents per bulb. And most of the time I only use maybe 3 to 5 bulbs per wreath if I add ornaments on them at all. So that's a pretty good cost savings, and you get your pick of 4 or 5 different colors in the same container. Okay, so let's kind of draw the ribbon back out. So there is, I'm gonna have to pull it again because it's creeping back over to the side. It's making me almost think that I have to move my bow a bit more. Let's see if we can just refluff the tails, and will that suffice? It may. Let me look. Yep, that'll work. Okay, so we have a couple. Let me show you what it looks like so far. So, Dawn, am I going to cut down the white stems? No, I'm going to leave these ones on. It just pops more white into the actual wreath, but we're going to add some other things. Like up here where we have the stems, go ahead and pull these ones out. We're going to go ahead and fill these with, I have a whole bunch of different color. I bought these yesterday at Hobby Lobby. So these are the rose gold. These are super pretty. They kind of have a marbled effect. But I'm thinking like adding a couple of these around our wreath. So see, this is where I'm doing that whole 3 quantity. So breaking up that color, and then figures I started with the wrong end. Should have opened it on the other side. These came from Dollar Tree last year. So believe it or not, there are some rose gold in here, which are nice if we want to add just little pops. There's only 3 of them. So I added that to the gold, which we can go around and just add all those to. I'm trying to find the gold one. I think it's here. Add those. I was trying to get the gold out for the white. So white's kind of like a cream color. Really? Let's do it this way. Really does not want to come out. There we go. So like we have some white that we can go ahead and tuck in. We have some gold. So this is what I was thinking. I was keeping with my color theme. Let's see how this played out. I had them in like a little trio pattern. So hang tight. Let me look. like this. So let me see if I can wheel this to the side. So they're kind of set up in these little grouping trios of like the rose gold, gold, and then the off-white, done here, and then adding some more to the outside. So what do you guys think? So far, I guess you guys like it because you said it's pretty, you love the colors. So let's go ahead and start adding some embellishments, because that's the time where we get to play and be our most creative. So I'm going to add the rose gold to the gold on the outside. So I'm just going to tuck these in. So I just usually remove the little plastic heads, because if you try to secure it in with those, they have a tendency of popping off. So I use Gorilla Glue, quite a bit of Gorilla Glue, and I'm just tucking them in to that tinsel tie and to the Deco mesh, because it makes for a really nice base for those to fit in. So if you see, I just added it here to kind of break up some of the gold. We're just kind of playing back and forth with a color palette between rose gold, cream, gold. And then we'll go ahead and add these to the inside. Let's pull all these out. And then it also fills voids where there's no ribbon. So we'll start with that one. The slime came from Personally Yours on Etsy. So we're going to add this, which I love that marbled finish. And they're all just a little bit different. Like one is more marbled, one's more glittered, one is more like kind of muted. And Gorilla Glue is my friend. I take stock. We should get stock in Gorilla Glue. I use quite a bit, so I don't know if you guys can see that, but there is quite a bit of Gorilla Glue on there. So I don't go very minimal. I actually go quite heavy-handed on the glue because I don't want them coming off. So let's go ahead and add this one. And these bulbs from Hobby Lobby, you got 12 for $11.99, but they're 50% off. So they're basically 50 cents an ornament, is the way you can calculate your math. And I'll go ahead and pull these. And see, that whole package of Dollar Tree ornaments for $1 was perfect. Sadly, they don't have them this year. They went bigger, and I don't understand why. They should have went smaller. Oh, thanks, Patty. Yeah, we just decided to do rose gold. I haven't done one. I think because last year everybody jumped on the whole rose gold train, so I went in the opposite direction. I'm like, I'm not going to do that. I'll do something different. Hey, Bob. How are you? Let's see. I like these because they're almost, I bet if you had lights in this and you put an actual light inside, I bet this would look gorgeous. So in hindsight, the only thing that I think I would do differently is add lights to this. And I don't know why I didn't. Maybe if we decide to do something different, we'll add lights to it. So let that one go. I just see wreaths like this being on those vintage, like Victorian homes, like people who have Victorian homes. These would look amazing on their door. Okay, so we're not using silver because there's no silver in here. Let's look at what else we can add. So let me look at the pine cones that I have, and look, they're super pretty. They're just small enough to add that little pop like we did yesterday. So I'm actually going to go ahead and add these. And I'm going to add these to our pink glitter to the outside. And we'll probably put one in the center. I don't know where they came from. They're just in a random bag. Right, wouldn't this look? A rose gold evergreen? Yeah, I can definitely do that. I'm just trying to finish some of my Deco mesh ones, and then we'll start in on the evergreen. But yes, that's exactly what I was thinking, Shell, is evergreen with the rose gold and a lot. I want to find some, love to find some vintage items, vintage Christmas items to add to a Victorian wreath. So let's see. We are adding that to our glitter, which is under the bow. But we finished it, right? We always add towards everything. So if we have something under the bow, I don't skip that just because it's under the bow and go, well, no one's gonna look there anyway. I do. I look. And let's try to see if we have, trying to look for just the right one. This one's super pretty to add in here. Let's see. I don't think it needs to be any bigger. I like the size. I'm liking small. So let's add this to our bow. Thanks, Patty. I love the ribbon too. So we'll go ahead and add our glittered pine cone to the center. And then I'll trim something and look. I just want to see something. Let me spin it around and look. I don't think I want to. I was looking at, do I want to embellish some of this with the rose gold pick? Might. Maybe. Let's see how this looks. I don't know. Kind of liking it. So you guys tell me, should we add the pick? So I just added that little sparkly glitter pick to the bottom. So let me zoom in so you guys can see it. It's just this pick right here. Should we add that or should we omit it? Hi, Cindy. They're not, yeah, they're not acorns, they're pine cones, Dawn. So I'm trying to think, do you guys think we should add just those slight little, it would only be about 3 of them. The little glitter picks. So Lisa says no picks. Catherine says yes. Peggy says yes. Linda said add. Because I'm just doing small, like not overly large. Okay, add. That's what I keep saying. Okay, so we'll just add this to the last little section, and then it should be all ready to go. I hate when the end of my glue gets stuck. Like I have a dry piece of glue on the end of my glue gun, and I don't want it in the glue because it'll get in the way of what we want to glue. I hear you. You are very vocal today. Yes, you are. He's just running around the house like a madman right now. I was looking for the one piece that I thought I had. It's just all by itself. Okay. Last. I know, Don, I always have a lot going on, but sometimes it's just a matter of textures. You know, and adding just a little bit of a glitter, taking all that glitter and bringing it in, and it's very minimal. Like it's not over the top crazy. So I'm just snipping these down. And thankfully they're wired, so it's nice. Last glue stick. Okay, so we'll go ahead and let's go here. Make sure everything's all fluffy. And I think we're done, believe it or not, without going crazy overboard, because I even had, these are almost the wrong color. Yeah, they're lavender. Sometimes when you go and you grab stuff, you think you're in the right color palette, but then it turns out you're really way off. So let's go ahead and put this up on the door. So let's zoom out. And we will get this on the door. So I think this is going in with the rest of my theme. So I do even have rose gold colored angel tree toppers. So I would do a suggested bundled purchase, I guess, if you will. So you could get like the rose gold wreath, and don't forget the rose gold angel tree topper. You can just add it to the decor, or you can, let's see, and I think we're even going to do a rose gold ribbon tree on Friday for the live in 2 different sizes, using a whole bunch of different rose gold colored ribbon and some pigs. So it's kind of nice when you can do a bundled home decor, like where you're teaching people how, look, you can bundle this with the angel tree topper. I'm trying to pull this without, there we go. And then making sure, because this will always be a challenge, trying to get a good picture in the sunlight without the glare on the sign. So, make sure. There we go. Pink. And you gotta go through and take all your glitter off your sign, but what do you guys think? You guys think it turned out okay? Let me, yeah, I will zoom in. Give me 1 second. Hopefully it'll zoom in just a second and you should be able to see that, but I really like it. It's definitely completely different from the other one, which is exactly what I wanted it to be. I didn't want it to look like, hey, we just changed out the colors and we went with exactly like what we did yesterday. This was way different. How much does it weigh? Like 3 pounds maybe. It's really light, believe it or not, because everything it's Deco mesh, and it's a fine weight Deco mesh, so without boxing it up and putting it in a box, I'm guessing 3.5 pounds. Be interested to see how long it stays in your shop. Well, we'll see. I mean, I'll post it out there and we'll see what happens. It'll either go or I get to add it to my Christmas decor this year. So tomorrow we're doing the Black Bear Buffalo Plaid. I call it the Berry Christmas Wreath. So we're doing the Black Bear Wreath tomorrow. So somewhere right between 2 and 2:30 is where I'm gauging, and that could always change depending upon what circumstances pop up. But I figured I had to backfill my shop, so I'm still backfilling. So hopefully you guys like this. Feel free, you guys can share. I always forget to tell you guys that because we're in the public group. So share away if you like, and that's it. It'll be in my Etsy shop shortly. So I will see you guys all tomorrow when we go live with Black Bear Buffalo Plaid Mountain Christmas Wreath, something like that. All right, everyone, have a great day. Thanks for joining me again. Bye-bye.